Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Public Works Finance Committee of the Moscow City Council, meeting on Monday, November the 14th. To my left is Catherine Bonzo, councilperson. I'm Walter Steed, vice chair of the committee. Yay. Jen Piffner is sitting in for Supervisor Gary Reedner, who is out of the building this afternoon. First item on the agenda is to approve the October 10, 2016 minutes.
And they read okay to me.
And they were well with me, so we will consider those approved, Lori.
Okay.
Second item is disbursement report for October 2016, and Sarah Banks.
Hello. Okay, so looking at the CCSRs, the total expenditures for October were $2,407,513. Major expenditures made up about 93% of that at $2,227,354. The largest expenditures are payroll at $976,224, and then you'll notice professional services was quite large. About half of that came in from software renewals for IS, and we had our annual insurance ICRIP payment, which was $235,627, and then we also had a payment to Motley for our Fire Station 2 parking lot repair, and that was about $80,000.
Sarah, do you know if any of the F Street water line work was in this report or not?
I would have to look at that. To be honest, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
I can look at that and get those amounts back.
Yeah, when I saw the Motley, I thought maybe that was what it was, but that was the Fire Station 2.
Yep, the parking lot,
redoing
the repair.
The parking lot.
Yes.
Okay. Anything from you?
Nothing from me.
Welcome, Jim Boland.
Thank you.
Sitting in for Art, who is more than out of the building.
Yeah. He's out of the continent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else of importance?
That's it.
Okay. Well, I think we can approve that and pass
Okay.
around the
Okay.
sheet to sign, please.
Do you want to sign? No.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is Elisa Anderson with the Office of Highway Safety Traffic Enforcement Mobilization Program.
Thanks. See you. Hey.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Chief Fry was going to join me today, but he's not here, so I'm sure there's a good reason for that. So he had a report he was going to share with us, and he may still show up. If not, we'll send it out with the council packet for next week. So what we're looking at today is an annual contract that we've renewed, probably going on over 10 years now, and it is for the police officers to do special mobilizations. There's about 10 to 12 of them a year that are offered, and basically what it pays for is our overtime expense for those different mobilizations. They range from DUIs to child safety seat to uninsured motorists, speeding citations.
Emphasis patrol.
Yes, yes. And so they've changed how they're offering them a little differently this year than they had in the past. And they're asking for a little different statistics, as you could see in the package under the performance report that I included, a blank one. They have totally changed the system over to be online, so we do all of our reporting online now, and it's become a lot more efficient. And we're also set up now to receive payments through a direct deposit system. So we're moving up with the technology zone on this one. In fact, the officers went for a training 2 weeks ago, and the new system's called TEMAS. So everything that's in your packet is a document that we upload online. And then there are some forms that we can complete and send in where we have the reports for the seatbelt and different things. But basically, we have the mobilization agreement, which I'm requesting authorization to have it signed and submitted. I think it calls for the, I have to have the mayor's signature on one of the pages, and then I'll upload that page.
Okay.
And Chief Fry was going to be here to give you the statistics from last year on what they did in each of the categories. He had a report prepared, but he has been delayed. So I think we'll put that together and have it go in your council packet for next week so that you'll have that.
Yes, ma'am. Anything?
No. I think it's
Be
awesome that
interesting to
it's
see
not online.
what the emphasis patrols,
What they're generating?
yeah, what, in terms of.
Well, I
stops.
think each patrol, usually we get reimbursed somewhere around anywhere from $1,900 to $3,000, and it really depends upon how much staffing we have that is able to work the overtime when the dates of the mobilizations are set up for. So,
And there's no match or cost to the city.
no.
I think they probably run a sheet asking which officers are interested
Yes,
in doing
they do.
this particular emphasis at this particular day and time, and they come
They
in,
post it.
bill it as overtime, and we get reimbursed by the state.
Correct.
Okay? Consent agenda, but she'll add the additional information in there so we can see that.
Do you think that Chief Fry is going to present to the council the report?
If it's going on consent agenda,
We can certainly find out from him and then
If he
put it on
wants to.
regular. If he feels that he wants to make the presentation, that'd be fine.
Okay, we'll check, and then Lori will let you know when the agenda comes out, basically. So, all right,
Or before,
or before.
slightly before.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Tyler Palmer would like to talk to us about the SCADA system replacement design services agreement. And I know that everybody's just on the edge of their seat wanting to hear what SCADA is.
SCADA is supervisory control and data acquisition. That's as fun as it sounds.
Good stuff.
It's actually a very critical part of our infrastructure. It's basically the communication between the different sites associated with the production and distribution of our water and the collection and treatment of our wastewater. And so it's our eyes and ears throughout the system. It's massively important. Like all other aspects of life, technology has become involved in everything. And the technology that we're currently using, if you can believe it, is over 20 years old. So in technology terms, that's literally like driving a Model T to plow the streets in this day and age. And so we've got a very antiquated SCADA system that we're very, very excited to have repaired. The old SCADA system,
Repaired or
replaced. The old SCADA system is we've had several issues. It's limping along. We've got some very old computers. We can't even load the software onto new computers that we currently have. We have these two old machines that we hope keep working, and we've had several times in the last year that they've gone down, and when that happens, it's round the clock having people run around to make sure and check everything, and it can lead to pressure spikes, which can cause things like the F Street leak that we saw earlier this year. So it's a very critical component to our infrastructure. The proposal that we have is from Z Engineers. They're a small firm that really specializes in this type of work. We had some estimates that we'd requested early on that had the price quite a bit more expensive than this, closer to $70,000, and so we were pleased with the dollar amount that we saw come in. We think it's a fair dollar amount for the work that we'll have conducted through this process, and we would request that this be passed along to the council with a recommendation for approval.
Was this firm found through a quote or through an RFQ process or what?
We put out an RFQ for this, and so yeah, we had qualifications that we gathered from, I believe we had 6 submittals, and there was a committee comprised of several staff members from different areas in Public Works that reviewed them, and this was the firm that was selected based on qualifications.
Okay.
So this new system will allow you to know, for example, what the flow is and the pressure at each well in various locations around town, various valves. And can you remote control them with this system as well?
Yeah, that's right, Jim. We can do several things. The system controls when pumps come on, when they shut off. It notifies us if we have a tank that's overflowing. It can do a lot of those control aspects of the system. And yes, there are options with the new SCADA systems where things can be controlled remotely, there's obviously security concerns that we have to take into account when we're talking about our water system. But yeah, there are systems that have, I could sit on this tablet and I could turn on a pump, turn off a pump, make adjustments within the system. So it's a nice tool to have. It's getting the new tool will keep it so that currently call-outs means somebody has to come drive in and physically look at things and check, and a lot of things could be taken care of remotely with a system, with the newer systems.
I have a question. What happens with the two old computers? What do you get to use them for? Anything?
I don't know if they're good for anything anymore, Catherine. I don't imagine they're worth much of anything.
And there's probably more than 2 computers involved.
There will be, but currently there are 2
There
computers.
are only 2?
Yeah.
Is the wastewater's one system and the water's another?
The wastewater treatment plant is on a separate system.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the estimate for the replacement of the SCADA system? What's in the budget?
We have $600,000 budgeted currently. That's about where we think it'll come in. We think it'll come in somewhere between $500,000 and $600,000.
So you've been hoping for this for like 5 years.
Yeah, this
probably.
has been something that
we finally have enough.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, our water production guys are going to sleep a lot easier when this is
so
done.
Scary.
But it doesn't include wastewater treatment?
It does. It will.
It will include them?
The conveyance is included in this. The treatment plant is on a different system. So it won't change the plant's SCADA system. They have a more modern SCADA system at the plant already. So this is just for some of the conveyance and then the water production and distribution.
So then will they interface with each other? So that, for instance, if Todd's not there, you can know what's going on there?
That's part of what we'll have that we'll look at is if we use the same software as what's used at the plant or if we bring another software on board. That's part of this process. This process, what they'll do is they'll take a look at our system and they'll generate recommendations, bid specifications, and that's what this contract is for.
Are you already leaning towards certain software that's out there probably?
We try to educate ourselves beforehand to make sure we know what's out there and what the options are. I attended a training a couple of months ago and spent a lot of time looking into different systems. There are some softwares that some of the operators prefer, but a lot of it will be based on just looking at what's cost effective and realistic for our system. There are some things out there that are super Cadillac models that do a billion things that we'll never do, and so we have to look at it realistically and say what makes sense for the city of Moscow's system and what has the capabilities but is still cost effective.
And the others, so once you get to upgrade, so how long, is there like a timeline on this, or are updates and improvements within that software system part of what's going to happen? So they'll say, okay, in 3 months, we know that we have the stuff we're working on that we're going to push in to replace these bugs or these things? Or?
There'll be software updates that are continual, as with any software. The hardware that will be installed through this process, it'll completely replace all the hardware, and so there's some longevity that we'll have through that. But yeah, there'll be updates. There'll be periodic updates as they, like I said, work through the bugs or whatever they find.
So then you're hoping this lasts another 20 years, sort of thing.
Yeah, with technology stuff, it moves pretty quickly. So 20 years is a long time to hope for. I mean, the system that we have is well beyond useful life.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody have a system that you like within the state?
There are a lot of modern systems. SCADA is something that everybody uses, and so there are a lot of great examples. And one of the things that we do require is we require references for different places that have used both the implementers and the products, so that we can talk to the staff and see how they've liked it. And so that's something that we've had several in preparation for this. We've had several of the implementers and the software companies come out and do presentations for our staff at our building, and then we've also at trainings sought them out as well, just so we can know what's out there. There are several options that we'll look at through the process.
I have another one. Do you have to then train the staff, and is that separate to the initial?
Yeah, when we go for procurement, included in our procurement cost will be a training element, so that they'll come out and train the staff on the use of whatever software is procured.
Okay. Well, good.
All right.
That's great.
Jim, anything?
Recommend approval.
Consent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nothing else on the agenda? If there's nothing else to come before this committee, we are adjourned.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.